Hey, people. Listen, what can one say? I mean, I'm just trying to get out as much info as one can, or share it, I guess. But this was pretty obvious, and I don't think it's just Canada. I think it's all over the place. We saw it in Australia, we saw it in the States, we saw it yeah. The thing is that you don't hear about this because it's not publicised. Ottawa, Canada, March 11. Canada's National Statistical Agency stated in a report released yesterday that there are excess deaths in the country when compared to previous years, but those deaths are not due only to the flu, but are due increasingly to what it calls indirect consequences of the pandemic, citing as examples delayed medical procedures due to the lockdowns and increased substance use. In the early months of the pandemic, the weekly number of excess deaths and deaths caused by the flu were closely aligned, mostly affected older populations, suggesting that the flu itself was driving excess mortality in Canada. Stated Stats Canada in its March 10th report titled Provisional Death Counts and Excess Mortality January to December 2020. However, more recently, the number of excess deaths has been higher than the number of deaths due to flu. These deaths are affecting younger populations, suggesting that other factors, including possible indirect impacts of the pandemic, are now at play. Stats Canada reported that in 2020 there were an estimated 296,373 deaths in Canada, representing an excess of 13,798 deaths above and beyond what would have been expected had there been no lockdowns. This is about 5% more deaths than expected in that period. The statistics group went on to point out how last year saw the country as a significant spike in, for example, overdose deaths, as lockdowns forced drug users to withdraw to themselves and away from substance use treatment programs that could help. For example, British Columbia, the Chief Coroner's Office has reported increases in deaths due to overdoses since the start of the pandemic. Similarly, Alberta Health Services reported decreases in both the provision and use of substance use treatment programs, as well as increases in opioid-related emergency responses and deaths since the onset. Yeah, see, this is you don't hear about too much about this anymore because of all the censorship and whatever. But this was going on. It goes on in every country. It's been going on in every country. For every time they do it, more and more, just purely out of loneliness, some out of, whatever the case may be, are gone now because of that, not because of an illness, but through suicide, through suicide. But yeah, and that's just reporting from Canada.